for you and me. No more shopping frantically. Come and show me how to cook. I can learn without a book. My eyes are on your every move. James, you always stir my appetite. The things you do turn out just right to my delight. I'm waiting for a rainy day to try out what I learned today.
Hi there, beans today, all right. Beans, just ordinary growing beans. Now, they come in all shapes and sizes. They come in green colors, like this. They come in yellow colors, you know, and they come in nice long ones like this. The Chinese, a lot of Oriental use, they call them yak's tails. They're nice, they're great fried beans. But you can do pretty well anything with beans. My mother called this morning to talk about the show. Said, what can you do with beans? Said, just one thing, show you what you can do with them, all right? Now, you've got beans, and as I say, it doesn't matter whether they're green ones, yellow ones, whatever. And just to be magic for you, we'll do 4 things to show how quickly and easy they are. Let's just crank up these fry pans and we'll do 4 things. 2 sort of French things, butter. 2 sort of Italian things, olive oil. Let me just crank that up, okay? Now, the essential thing is to put a little olive oil in there, a little olive oil in there. If I can do 4, you can do 1. Now, the butter ones, okay? We want about a tablespoonful of butter in here. Let's just dump the butter in there like that. And we'll do it with walnuts. Just imagine we were in the south of France and we were going to cook beans and walnuts, because beans and walnuts is nice. This one, we want some butter in here, and we'll do beans, very sort of traditional, very French thing. We'll do beans and a little cream. Well, wait a minute. If we're going to do cream, we don't need all that butter because there's fat in it already. I'll tell you what, I'll just dump some of that out. I'll give it to my cat, who likes that kind of thing. He's not gonna live till he's 90, but he's gonna enjoy it, all right? Now, the beans, right? Let's do yellow beans with cream. We'll put the beans in there. And let's do some green beans with the walnuts, because the walnuts and they contrast. That's how you learn to cook. You make things look nice in contrast. Now, I'll just give these a stir in the hot butter to coat them. And what'll happen, the walnuts, because they're in the hot butter, will all crisp up, right? I'll fish that one back in. Leave them whole, leave them long. And as soon as they've started to coat, turn the heat down, because you don't want the butter to burn, okay? Toss them all over in a little bit of butter, okay? Now, in goes the cream. Now, I know cream worries you sometimes. That's all right. Cream is nice sometimes. You don't eat it all the time. And you got a little bit of salt to keep the color in, and a little bit of salt on there to keep the color in, and just keep moving them around till they're just coated. Now, if you want to make this fancy, you put a little liquid in there to just give it a little boiling, and the liquid can be anything, but there's nothing wrong with a little bit of water. A little bit of water goes in there, put the lid on, those beans are going to cook. Cream, we want a little bit of niceness, a little bit of spike in it, so we put some red cayenne pepper on the top. Let them cook in the cream, all right? Put the lid on there, turn the heat down, and they will cook. Now, same thing, here we are, Italian, all right? Now see how hot that oil is. Italian, Chinese, very much the same approach to cooking. Cook it very quickly in a pan on top of the fire. Yellow beans here, and we want some of those green ones. Okay, let me just grab those green ones. Now, into the hot, hot oil, right immediately. Here they hiss. You want yellow ones as well? All right. Yellow ones. Yellow ones are sometimes softer, but there you are. Stir them all around just to coat them with the hot, hot oil. That's the first thing you do. There we are. Stir them all around very quickly. A little bit of salt to keep the colour. We're going to do garlic and dill. Now, let's get rid of that so you can see. Garlic, you want to cook it in a hurry. Put it on the board and squash it. Just chop it across quickly and you've got your garlic ready to go. Right, I like anchovies. You like anchovies this morning? Well, just in one dish, okay? All right, a couple of anchovies. Throw those in there. Stir them around. And they've got garlic in there and anchovies. And to make it sweet, a little bit of dill. All right, a little bit of dill on the top. And once again, same business. Put the lid on and turn the heat down. The green beans, let's do this with pine nuts. Very Italian. Get the pine nuts in there. If you have pine nuts, you could use walnuts. You just use, what you've got. If you haven't got walnuts, you use almonds, pine nuts, whatever. Sesame seeds. But they all do much the same thing. Now, you've got pine nuts, and we want to make it really, really, really Italian. So we have Parmesan cheese, but we don't have it right yet because if we put it in now, it'll change the nature of it. So I'll just put the lid on there. And what I'm going to do, I'll get this plate out of here. I'll get this other plate out of here. And I'll be back in 2 minutes. I'm going to put these out on the plates and you'll see what they are. They're nice. A bit of Parmesan on the Italian beans, all right, with the pine nuts, and a little bit of lemon on those nice ones with walnuts in there. A little bit of lemon, too, on the ones with cream. Don't put things on cream, lemon. You don't put lemon on it because it'll curdle it. You do it afterwards, all right? And a little bit on this one with dill and garlic and a couple of anchovies. Nice. Now, let's do something fancy, all right? Green beans are not just plain old ordinary nothings. Crank up this fry pan. A little bit here. And let's get a bit of butter and put in about less than a tablespoonful of butter. All right, let's just let it melt. And as soon as it melts, when you're cooking with butter, you don't have to get it bubbling. You can do it, French cooks do it with clarified butter, but we ain't got time to clarify it, all right? So there's the butter melted. In goes the green beans. Right, we just put those in there and sprinkle them with a little bit of salt just to make them, keep them green, all right? Toss them around in the melted butter and see how quickly the butter starts to get hot. Butter melts and burns very quickly. So as soon as it's melted, whenever you cook with butter, try and remember this, as soon as it's melted, turn it down a little bit. Turn it down to sort of medium low, all right? Now that's in there, the beans coated with butter to give them a flavor, and now we're going to sort of put a little bit of white wine in there, right? About half a glass of white wine. And because we've got liquid in there, we can turn the heat up now, because steam, the liquid will keep the temperature down. And we just put that on and let it sit for a couple of minutes. Now, we're going to make this fancy dish out of beans, all right? First thing I'm going to do is take a fancy dish and lay out some slices of ham. Now, if you've got thick slices of ham, that's fine. And if you've got thin slices of ham, that's fine too. I like, sometimes a bit thicker than that. Let's just do 4 on this. Suppose we have 4 people coming to lunch. Let me get rid of that over there. Take a pear, and you can core pears with apple cores. I know nobody ever told you that, but apple cores are not exclusively for apples. There we are. We've cored that one. Let's get that bit out of there. Here we go again on the top. Pear core, apple core. Just, there it comes right out of the bottom. Now, to do it quickly, cut the pear. I'm going to put that out of the way so you can see what we're doing. All right. There's a bit left in there. All right. Cut it up into slices, wedges. All right. This one, wedges. If you've got a bit of pit left in there, just cut it out. There's a bit of extra. Just cut it out. Now, pears, cooked pears, all right. Throw them in with the beans. Now, this is really pretty dish. This has got terrific, nice, it smells good, and it also is very, very sort of fallish. When the pears come, when the pears get ripe in September, or wherever they get ripe in your part of the world, see how they're starting to change? Now, about a teaspoonful of sugar, not much, just a little tiny bit, and we're going to give it this sort of bite that is hot and sour, sweet. So we'll put in, what do we got here? Let's put in the juice of half a lemon. Now, we put this in because we've almost finished cooking it, all right? So we're not going to let it cook for very long, or the beans will change color. We just want it to liven up those pear slices. Okay. Now, we've got a sauce in there, which is made out of a little bit of pear juice, a little bit of bean juice, a little bit of white wine, a little bit of pepper, a little bit of salt. You could make the sauce separately. You could dirty up 3 pans. We did it in 1 pan. All right? So, let me put this over here. What did I do with my bits of, there, nice bits of ham. Get that out of the way. And what you do when you're going to serve people is take your bits of ham, and I got any tongs? Yeah, these are good things. Let's move those bits of, we'll lay a few beans on each piece of ham, and there we go. And this is something that you can either serve it as an appetizer or as a main course. Doesn't matter. If you like a lot of it, then serve it as a main course. Now, pears, put a pear on there, and a pear on there, and one on there. And there's one that looks really nice, little bits of pear. Like wonderful. If you want to make it look different, you slice some lemon thin, put a little bridge of that on it, just to make it look a little pretty. You take some tarragon, and this is fresh tarragon. We haven't cooked it, and we should either lay fresh tarragon around, or you get some dried tarragon, and you just sprinkle it lightly over the top. And that is your nice, pretty little dish that you made out of beans, and aren't you clever? Right, now the long beans, I'm going to put them in boiling salted water for about 2 minutes, no more, okay? Just let them boil and boil and boil. And then, while I'm doing that, we're going to make a really fancy salad. In China, they cut these little beans up and they cook them very, very quickly with a lot of garlic, a lot of hot cayenne pepper, and a lot of fish sauce. And sometimes they put a little bit of ground beef in there as well. They love it. But this is kind of a different thing. This is a sort of semi-Greek thing, but I have tarted it up to show you how we could do it. We could take these beans, just take them out of there, because they're only going to steam, okay? And let me put something on top of that just to keep the steam in there. If you can't find the lid, put a plate on top of it, just to let them steam. All right, and we're going to make this really fancy salad. Now, the salad, I want to make it look pretty, and originally I was going to grate carrots, all right, because we've got these bright green beans, so I was going to grate some carrots, but you can do that because you've got a grater, all right? Now, if you haven't got a grater, then what you have to do is get a carrot and cut it up in long, skinny slices. And once you've got the first slit, the flat side goes down, then you can always cut into flat sides, right? And you can cut up strips like that. But what I like most of all to do is to get a carrot like this and one of these zesters. Now, you buy these in a kitchen store for zesting oranges, but look what it does to carrots. Look. See, you get those long, pretty things. And this is real designer carrots. Okay, so there. Now we've got 3 ways to do carrots. All right, now that's going to be hot. just take that off there, put it back over there. Beans, that's gonna just pour that, strain off the beans, and run them under the cold tap for just a couple of minutes, just to make them, stop them cooking there, because you don't want them overcooked. Now, all right. Now, what we could do is just dump them on a plate and have a great pile of beans. But suppose we do something different. Let's turn that fire off. Suppose we get decorative here. Shove that out of the way. Take our dish. Now, we don't have to have a square dish or a rectangular one. You can have a round plate if you want to. But what I like to do with this is to take these beans and play with them. Now, look, just supposing you started off making a little square like that with these beans. It doesn't have to be a perfect square. And then you take another green bean and you line the inside of it. And then you take another green bean and you line the inside of that, and you keep pushing it. And kids can do this. I mean, kids just love to do this kind of thing. This is a really great, and this make them think totally differently about green beans, about all kinds of things. It looks like a Japanese maze. We're getting near to the end, and that does it fairly quickly. Right. Now, we want to make it look great. Now, see how green it is? Right now, it starts to look dramatic, because we've got a little tiny bit. Let's put a bit of in the middle for perfect enlightenment. In fact, let's make ourselves a little bit of perfect enlightenment. There's our rock in the middle, which is perfect enlightenment, all right? We want some feta cheese, all right? A little bit of feta cheese. Let's just cut a lump out of there and cut it up a bit into small dice, or crumble it, or do whatever you want. Some cheese crumbles, some cuts up. It just depends. And if you haven't got feta cheese, then all right, use cheddar. But don't tell anybody else that you haven't done it right, because there's no right way to do it. Now, look at this. We've got orange on there and green. Perfect enlightenment. Better stay back up there like that. And a little bit more feta cheese. And as much feta cheese you want, because you want a good loaf of bread to go with this. And a nice glass of wine wouldn't be amiss either. And there you are. Just chop that up quickly. Turn it round and chop it up. There we are. Green and white and orange. Now, we want some Dijon mustard to make a sauce. Here's a teaspoonful of Dijon mustard. All right. We put a little bit of garlic in there, which we chop up. And it doesn't matter that the garlic is not totally bruised. Just chop it up a bit like that. All right, a little bit of oil. Here's some oil. About 3 tablespoonfuls of oil. That will be good. And we give it a good old stir. We put in some honey. Now, if you've got bees, your own bees, otherwise put in about a teaspoonful of honey. And we've got a spicy, nice dressing in there, and we want to finish it up, make it thinner with lemon juice, right? Lemon juice goes in like that. Stir it all around. And what do we do with salad dressing? Well, we put it on the salad. Look at that. And there suddenly, isn't that the most beautiful thing you saw in just about 5 or 6 minutes? That's just great.
Dead easy and indecently delicious. Peasant's Choice Cookbook with more of the best recipes from the Urban Peasant. Over 200 of James Barber's simply and downright sinfully wonderful dishes. Everything from 6-pack stew to samosas, plus full-color photos, behind-the-scenes shots, cooking tips, and amusing anecdotes by James. Peasant's Choice, just $16.95 plus $4 shipping and handling. To order, call 1-800-561-9966. Ask for Operator 6.
Right, green beans, all right? I'm just making a few little decorations with these long beans. This is what we do in Thailand, is make things look pretty with these beans, the yak's tails. All right, put them on there. Now look what we did with beans. We got these yellow beans. We did an Italian-style thing with anchovies and a little bit of oil and a little bit of dill. Very nice. We did another Italian thing, Parmesan cheese and pine nuts and, you know, very, very pretty little thing. We did something with butter and walnuts, and we did one with just plain cream. But the cream, we put a little bit of nice cayenne pepper onto it. Then we did our pears and great stuff with beans, and we made our Zen masterpiece. Now, what more can you want with beans? What more can you possibly want?
Next on TLC, would you like to express your creativity while making something useful for your home? Join Debbie Stapley of Crafts & Company. Then, get into gardening naturally.